Hello, amazing ladies and gentlemen from across the world. This is your bro for boss ladies, Edwards here. Hope you're all doing great, and thank you for joining me wherever you are on this beautiful weekend. Now, statistically speaking, you're probably watching the recording or you're here live, and it doesn't actually matter because the fact is that you're watching. So if you come in, smash that like, share, comment, say hello, and it's amazing. Now, boss ladies, we actually run this monthly, and it's a legendary summit involving some of our legendary boss lady friends. We're talking about different ideas on women's empowerment and everything. And today we're going to be talking about friendships and what they mean to you. Now, what happens is we have a great panel of boss ladies, and it's completely random if any and how many join me. So if heaps join us, we turn into like a real news commentary channel. If it's one of us, it's a two-way interview. Otherwise than that, it's just me sharing my ideas with you. But whatever the case is, it's such an honourable pleasure to have you with us, and a big thank you. And I'm going to be doing my best to monitor all your comments. I have my legendary phone right here, and I can see that we're streaming live. So just to say a big thank you again. Make sure you like, share, comment, say hello. Now, today's topic is French tonic. I feel like a gin and tonic, actually. Didn't like it as a kid, but likes it up. Now, today's legendary topic, my friends, is the topic of women's empowerment and to do with friendships and who we surround ourselves by. And one big thing that I've really encountered a lot lately is a lot of women that reach out to me quite often daily for friendship, dating, and relationship advice, be it, adult stuff or not, right? And it's funny, and I'm glad they're reaching out to me, but it's sad that they need to reach out to me in the respect that I wrote an interesting article on LinkedIn yesterday. It was very popular, very dark, but very popular. Basically giving, so I'm an ex cop, like ex drug cop from back in the day, and I did this video, this LinkedIn article yesterday on basically dating tips for women coming from a sort of policing security viewpoint, and it was quite a dark thing to write, but it was something very important because what's happening is, I'm going to tell you this. I think that not just me, but the world is becoming more and more dangerous for women. I think it's very, very obvious in the way that you're seeing things happen. And what's interesting is a lot of women are asking about dating advice and asking me for dating advice, even though I'm a LinkedIn business networking guy. And here's a big thing that I want to share with you, amazing winners. This is the key thing is, when it comes to dating and relationships, it is a shark tank out there. But here's the big thing. You have to be very careful. You have to know what you're doing. You have to know who you're hanging out with. And this is the big thing that brings me to friendships, because who you surround yourself by is ultimately where you're going to go. And I'll say it again. Who you surround yourself by is ultimately where you're going to go. So look at the people in your life. Look at the people you spend a lot of time with. Their values and ideas are going to shape your values and ideas. Now, think about that for a second, because it's pretty, can be confronting. I had to think about this once, right? But think about it for a second. Think about the people in your life that you're surrounded by. You're absorbing their ideas. You're part of their networks. You're heading in that direction. Are they people you want to be surrounded by? Oh, my God. And we got some great people with us. So speaking of people I want to be surrounded by, oh, my God, do I see Felisa Moffat here? Big thank you. Sorry if I'm a bit slow responding to your comments. It doesn't work on StreamYard. It works on my phone. Felisa Moffat, great seeing you. Friends, if you know Felisa Moffat, say hello to her. And we've got Avril with us. Avril, great seeing you. Avril's actually one of our panelists, but she's watching on the live stream, but she can't make it on tape. She's busy working. But great to see you. I'm going to keep my phone right here. Disappears actually behind my green wall. I'm going to keep my phone right here to keep an eye on your comments. Big welcome. If you come in, like, share, comment. But here's a big thing, right? As a bro for boss ladies, I made that term up last time. Who you surround yourself by, have a really good think about it. Who are your friends? Who are your romantic partners? Who are people close to you in your life? Who are your family? Who are the people you look up to, and who are the people you associate with? Because all those ideas from a friendship point of view is going to be the direction that you head in life. And I think that is pretty actually scary. And it's a good chance to really, really think it through. Now, if I'm saying this to you and you're feeling like positive, saying, yeah, you know what, Ed, I'm surrounded by amazing people. This is great. Things totally rock. My hat off to you. But if you're sitting there a little bit insecure going, oh, I'm surrounded by such and such. I'm dating such and such. I'm working with such and such. I'm in this company. This is my invitation to you. This is a chance for you to stop and think. And I'll say it again. This is a chance for you to stop and think. think, because the people you surround yourself by is going to be where your life ends up and exactly what happens to you. It's quite an interesting quick story, actually. And looks like we got no panelists today. Christina Davey might be on that. Looks like we got no panelists today. So it's going to be your bro for boss ladies. And as a segue too, I actually coined this term the other time I was here. So what happened was I realized that now I've been into women's empowerment my whole life. I suppose I love women. So there you go. There's my rationale for it. But I've always been in women's empowerment. Even though I'm a right-wing guy, I've always been in women's empowerment, even before it was cool. And when women's empowerment is cool or uncool, I actually don't care because I'm just in women's empowerment. And as a dude, as a man, you get a totally different viewpoint of things. And I speak to a lot of women all the time who ask me for my male viewpoint, right? Male viewpoint. And I think when it comes to women as well, I think it's even more important. I'll explain to you why. I'm going to sound a bit like Jordan Peterson here. I'm not going to talk about lobsters or Elon Musk or Trump too much, but I'm going to sound a bit like Jordan Peterson because and I've actually studied this as well, so I actually got a little bit of credibility here as a master NLP practitioner. So when you look at evolutionary biology, men and women have evolved differently. I don't need to tell you that, right? Now, the key thing is that, and now I'm going to bring in my own viewpoint here, which I'm sure a lot of you will agree with. Women tend to get influenced more by people around them. And I'll say it again. I see that women tend to get influenced more by people around them. Explain to you why. As a man, you have that masculinity thing. You have those stereotypes that encourage you just to go off and do your own thing, right? And who cares about everyone? As women, you got to be, it's all these stupid norms. You got to be supportive. You got to be compassionate. You got to support other people. You got to be feminine and all that. So I think society sort of massages women very unfairly into being someone that you have to sort of get along with everyone. Whereas a man, you can sort of tell everyone, stick it to your own thing. Now, the problem with that is that if you're surrounded by the wrong people, your life is going to suck. And I'm speaking of not sucking, Rodriguez, Big Wave, Rodriguez, great having you with us. You just come in, smash that like, share, and comment. And I got my old friend Kenneth with us. Kenneth, great seeing you. Kenneth and I have known each other for years on LinkedIn. His comment is so big, it takes over half my screen. But there we go. He's basically sending lots of love. There you go, lots of love. And if you're a dude or a lady, I actually don't care. It's just great to have you with us. Now, here's a big thing about what I say about friendship, especially talking to women, right, is be very careful who's in your life. Who do you share your secrets with? Who do you have discussions with? And here's a big thing. I've spoken to a few women like this week and said, Ed, I'm surrounded by a lot of biatches. I'm surrounded by not very nice women and I'm not feeling good in life, Ed. My life isn't going where I want. Now, I'm going to say something that I totally subscribe to, and it's this. I'll say this very carefully. You are better off being on your own than surrounded by the wrong people. And I'll say it again. You are better off being on your own, surrounded by the wrong people. And I'll explain to you a real logic there. If you're surrounded by a bunch of the wrong people and things aren't going well, and I've been in this position a few times in life, it's great to go your own way. In a way, you might hit the reset button and kind of get rid of almost everyone. And you start again. And you start focusing on the people you want in your life, okay? And here's a big thing, and I'd say this to everyone. You're going to be what you do is the type of person you attract. And I'll say it again. What you do is the type of person you attract. If you're friendly, strong, in the zone, and brilliant, you're going to attract people like that to you. And speaking of attracting people, and the timing's impeccable, we've got Christina Davey who's sitting in our green room right now. So Christina Davey's got this big platter of prawns and she's having a cup of coffee. No, just kidding. She's just sitting there getting ready. But Christina Davey's a great friend of ours. Now, before I let her on stage, Christina Davey's a great friend of ours. She almost always makes little boss ladies good. She is a relationship and dating coach. She's Romanian background, based in Australia. And what's amazing about her is she runs legendary social mixes. The reason why I'm a bit seedy is we had a great social mixer yesterday. And before I let her on, Kenneth left a funny comment. I've been surrounded by biatches as well. And they mean, I'm obviously paraphrasing, biatch can relate to anyone. So the interesting thing is, even though it's a boss lady, a lot of men have said to me, yeah, this is awesome. Anyway, without further ado, let's welcome on Christina Davey. Oh my God, Christina Davey, how are you? Welcome. What's going on, Christina Davey?
Good. I was actually having a really good conversation with, a very young lady, and she was interested in knowing how to find the right partner. So, we were having a really good conversation. And then I was like, oh my gosh, it's time to go and have a chat with Edwardsia.
Oh my God. And Lara might be jumping on too. So she might be coming on a good message. So now, Christina, I was just talking about friendship and unpacking some ideas. And we had a great chat yesterday about basically women and relationships and how the world is getting more and more, especially the dating scene. The dating scene in the world is only getting more dangerous for women. Christina, I'd love to hear your viewpoints on this one because you're obviously closer to women than me, being a woman, which I am not, and I'm well aware of that.
I just want to say how much I enjoy reading your article. Thank you so much for, writing it, because everybody should read it. And if you haven't, I think, Edward, maybe you can drop a link in here, for everyone to get the opportunity to actually do so. Safety, feeling safe, it's really important in any aspect of our life, not just in love, but I think in friendships too. Since the topic today is, friends, it's about friendships, and especially for women, because without feeling safe, women will be in their masculine energy, trying to protect and, just be tough and be strong. And it's completely changing the whole energy and dynamic in an interaction with someone else. So feeling confident, competent, and feeling safe when we date or when we are friends with someone, I'll say it's quite high. It's like one of the main thing, because when we feel safe, we can open up, we can be vulnerable, we can trust, we can be ourselves. We can have actually so much more fun, because our brain is not really looking around for noticing all the stuff that are not right, but rather it's looking for a way to connect. It's looking for a way to try. It's looking for a way to make this even better. So, what do you think of that?
Yeah, I think it's amazing. And when you started talking, I thought of a great contradiction that you're pointing up. This is where I think it's very unfair on women. So the world is getting more dangerous and harder for women. I don't think anyone disagrees with that statement, right? The women who contact me every week are saying that to me. So that's just not Ed's opinion. I'm hearing this a lot. The world is getting harder and more dangerous for women, right? A lot of people agree with that. From an ex-policing point of view, I think it's very spot on. Now, the interesting thing about that all is you're right, is that women are expected now they have to be more masculine. They got to protect themselves. You have to keep your guard up in a crazy world. Then all of a sudden on dating, they got to do two things. They got to be all of a sudden feminine, soft and loving and all this, and they got to keep their guard up in case their date's a serial killer. So it's sort of, even in friendships, obviously, I know I put it to relationships there, but even in friendships, you could be a lady making friends with people who are putting on a front, but they're really toxic people that don't have your best interests in heart. So I think women get a raw deal. You're expected to be feminine, soft, and lovely, but then you got to watch out for sharks eating you in the shark tanks. That's my retort to that one, Christina.
And I think that's why self-awareness is so important. The reason why I'm feeling safe to go and date, the reason why I feel safe to interact with men is because I'm trusting myself and my ability to call them on their BS. And not later on, but right from the start. So when you feel safe within, when you trust yourself and you feel competent to communicate standards, to place boundaries, to be like, hey, this is not okay. Hey, this is not okay. Right? Not when it gets to that, like, when it's too late almost. Yeah. But right from beginning, you are communicating to a man how I am accepting to be treated.
Yeah.
Right? You won't get to a point where they can do other things as well, because right from the very start, you are accepting or not tolerating behavior, right? And when you have standards and you are true to your standards, okay, then, and you have high standards as well, then your standards are guiding you in what to tolerate and what not. I have
Yeah.
no problem telling someone, hey, this is not okay,
Yeah.
and to tell them to F off if, they don't listen. But at the
Yeah.
same time, I'm also kind, I'm caring, I'm
But
understanding.
if I can react to that, and I say this as a compliment to you, but as a criticism of what you're saying, you're Christina Davey. You're Romanian. You're a Eastern Bloc. You're a bit of a hard ass, which is why I like you, right? That's why we get along. A lot of people watching don't have the assertiveness or the direct communication or strength that you do. So if I can just jump in there, be it friendships, relationships, I'm sort of just grouping together for the sake of our discussion. Now, I know you're a hard-ass lady from Romania, and I think it's awesome, but most people aren't hard-asses from Romania. To normal people watching that are uncomfortable with saying no, that, have a lot of friends, what would you say to them?
Well, identify what's preventing you from and change it. This is your life, Edward. We are not born with skills on knowing how to
Yes.
navigate to feel safe.
Yeah.
And if this is something that it's a problem for someone, then their responsibility is to address it. Like, what is it that I can do about, feeling safe to express in a friendship or in a relationship or when I'm dating? Yeah. So I'm all about being like relying on myself and knowing how to. And when I don't know how, then to go to the person that does. How many times I'm calling you, like, for advice or something, or like, hey, how can I do this? Because when I'm not feeling the way I'm feeling, or when I'm not, getting the results that I want, I'm like, I'm going to ask someone, right?
Yeah.
Yes, it's true. There are a lot of people out there that don't feel safe in the world. But I really believe that comes mainly from the inside, not from the outside. If I'm in an environment when I'm not feeling safe, my responsibility is to remove myself from that environment.
Yeah, love it.
And it's the least I can do. But the problem is sometimes people value different things higher than their own safety.
Yeah. Like excitement, having a thrill, connection. They like some people deliberately put themselves in dangerous situations because they're bored in life. That's how people get into trouble and commit crimes.
Or a sense of belonging. It's better to be with someone than alone. Fear of loneliness.
Yeah.
It really puts us. It makes us accept behavior from people that it's not okay.
Yeah.
If I
can jump in there, right? So that's actually one of the themes I want to address. I want to make a quick mention. I want to focus on loneliness, right? And there's a reason for that is because I get contacted by a lot of lonely people, right? Be it they come to our meetups. And when you look at these people are attractive. They got it all happening. And they're telling me, Ed, deep down, I feel really lonely. I know a lot of people. I might be very popular, but don't have actually any friends. I don't really think I have any friends. I heard this yesterday from this very, attractive young business lady at a meetup. And the thing that I find fascinating, a quick story to set up this point of questioning, is that remember years ago, post-military days, I had this circle of friends, and it just didn't work out. It started off well, but I had this circle of friends that I go out drinking with and hanging out and dating each other, that sort of thing, right? And what was interesting is that it became a little bit toxic, and it just kept getting, you know what I mean? Like, you have a group of friends and it's okay, but the toxic behavior just kept getting slowly worse and worse and worse and worse. And then what happened was, after a month or two, I just realized my life is not going where it wants. I was stressed. I was like really happy 3 months earlier, and then all of a sudden I've got all these stress issues. And what I did was I made a really big decision, which I loved, which was, you know what? I'm better off on my own than surrounded by these losers. So what I did was I didn't do it in the most polite way, but the best I could at the time. I was just done with them all. I just discommunicated them all. I was out of there. And what was interesting is I had a few days of feeling really uncomfortable and lonely. But after about a week, I felt fantastic. I was like alive. I could do whatever I want. I didn't have to deal with all these people's idiotic issues. And it was funny because what it taught me is sometimes you're better off on your own than surrounded by the wrong people. And I want you to go more down that rabbit hole, Christina Davey, because I know you're a big fan of that thinking.
Oh, 100%, 100%. The good thing about being alone is that it's a fresh start.
Yes.
It allows you to start
Yeah.
new. You know, the problem is that if we think that we're not good enough, or we have fear of rejection, we're not going to put ourselves out there, and we're going to stay alone for a really long time. And that's the rabbit hole that we fell into, because now that we are alone, nobody likes us, we feel not good enough, nobody wants to be with us, and then we get depressed, and then we get anxious, and it becomes the more we stay at home and not meet people, the more fearful and anxious we become, because now we haven't done it for a long time, so we're not familiar anymore. And because we are not familiar anymore, it becomes even of a bigger thing to go through. So I love what you've done, Edward. You removed yourself. You're like, well, I'm better alone, but we don't have to stay alone. And that's what many people do in their love life and friendships. I feel, they remove themselves, but they're not doing anything from that moment. To find another tribe, to find new connections. That's why your event, yesterday event, oh my God, like, can I just praise you a little bit? You and Lassie are doing
an praise. I'm an insecure alpha male, so you can praise me anytime you want. Thank you.
That was not what I was doing, but I just wanted to recognize, acknowledge, and congratulate you on the best networking event that I am aware of, right, in Sydney, a place where people just connect with others and form new friendships, new collaborations, find jobs, find new businesses. I mean, it's amazing. It's amazing. And it's packed with people, and it's vibrant, and it feels so good. And it's an opportunity for people who have removed themselves from a toxic environment to enter a new community, to enter a new place, to make new friends. That's also important, that if we removed ourselves from one toxic environment, from a toxic relationship, from a toxic friendship, to also create opportunities for new ones. If we don't.
On that note, actually, I got an interesting story which you'll love. I was going to tell you this, actually. I actually invited her to a meetup. So long story short, so as you know, I used to be quite chubby a year or two ago. I hit the gym a few months ago, and now people think I'm a PT. So I'm starting to look like how I used to, right? Now, what I've been doing lately is I've joined, there we go, not as good as you though. I've joined Anytime Fitness, and where I live in Sydney, there's about 50 of them there's literally 50 of them within 10 kilometers of my position. So I'm visiting them all. And as I visit the gyms, I work out there, and then I meet the managers, take photos. So I'm using it to work out as well as create content as well. Now, interestingly, I went to one of the Anytime Fitnesses nearby where I live. I'll hide where it is. I met this amazing gym manager that ran it, and I could tell very quickly. I come from an Arabic background. I could tell that she did, and we sort of got along. We sort of connected on a cultural angle. She's like, and I'm an Arab. And she goes, and we just hit it off. And I said, look, I'm friends with Anytime Fitness. I'm doing content anyway. We started talking. She started telling me her story. And she goes, look at it. She was an American, like Arab American. She goes, look at it. I've just come from America a month or two ago. I got this job here at Anytime Fitness running the gym. My life wasn't working out. I was in my city in America, and terrible relationships. All my friends weren't right. And I've just come here to start my life again. And I've just met such amazing people. And then I retorted to her and I said, why do you think you're meeting such amazing people? And she says, in all honesty, I'm putting out a much friendlier vibe. I think because I'm here in Sydney, I'm happier. I'm putting out a friendlier vibe, and then I'm attracting more people. We hit it off. We're actually talking over WhatsApp. You're going to meet us soon. She's going to come to one of our meetups. But I found it fascinating because she traveled literally across the planet to sort of start again with her friendship circle. And she goes, hey, I'm looking for work. I want to get a visa for sponsorship, which is all great, which I'll help her with. But I just found that amazing. This woman, she's probably like mid-20s, quite an attractive Arab American. She traveled all the way from the US just to start her life again. And I think it's amazing. Like, I mean, I guess you travel from Romania to Australia. What's your take on that one? Some people really go the extra mile to start again.
I think it's not necessarily just about the place, but how we feel about being in that place. You know, I think at core, friendships are actually mirrors. They reflect back to us who we are, our strengths, our vulnerabilities, even parts of ourselves we might actually overlook. And a true friend will see us in our in our wholeness, and it will see our light, and it will see our shadow, and chooses to stay. And that kind of presence is really invaluable because it reminds us we are not alone in our journey, but that's not possible unless we feel a certain way about ourselves. And sometimes because we change the place and how we feel about the new place, about the opportunity of having a new beginning, is what's actually sending out the vibration that's creating, the new good, high level vibe. That's what
Yeah.
I'm.
And I think it makes sense because I found a story fascinating. And when I met her, I was thinking about this live stream. I thought, this is good. I thought I'm going to use you anonymously as an example of my live stream. And what I found fascinating about it is she said, sorry, you go.
If she felt it was the place that made her like, it was just, I don't like it here, right?
Yeah, that's what exactly what she said about her old place.
Yes, I don't like it here. And now because I'm deciding I'm not liking it here, I feel a certain way. I feel unhappy. I feel pissed off. I feel like I gotta get out of here. I can't breathe here properly. I can't be. And I'm creating that vibe, and therefore, the outside world responds to that. So now, based on what I believe, I need to do something about it. And she did. I'm glad she did. And now she's in a better place and she has better friends.
Yeah. And just a few great comments. I just want to react to some of our great fans watching. Thank you for watching. Victoria Franco, cultural converter. Thrilled to be here sharing this beautiful energy. We love you, Victoria Franco. There you go. Cool LinkedIn photo as well. I like your LinkedIn photo. And we've got SB Rahman with it. We've got Felisa Moffat. We've got Kenneth watching. If you're watching, say hello, and I'll put up your comments. So it's really cool. And I think you're right. I think the thing, again, bring it back to friendship and what we do. I think, and you've said this many times, and this is to me one of the core themes to get across. Ultimately, what we tolerate, we get. What we put out, we get. And I find it funny, actually, because what happened to me in my own personal journey is I've started getting really fit and healthy again and sort of really working on my health as my business has grown. And thanks, everyone, for supporting me. And interestingly, I've been fighting with a lot of people over the past 6 to 12 months. I've been having a lot of fights with people. Because what was interesting is that even though I'm fairly assertive, I've been tolerating a lot of stuff from a lot of people. But now I'm going to the gym, working out, people saying how wonderful I look, and whatever, all that ego stuff. I haven't been tolerating much stuff lately. So when people give me a hard time, I'm now biting back. I'm getting really angry. And so what was interesting is over the past 3-6 months, I've had a lot of fights with a lot of people, but now they're all gone and life is really good. And it's just funny how when you change, and it's what you're saying, when you change and what's going on in your head changes, your world around you changes very quickly, Christina.
That's right. Sometimes what's happening, outside, it's we get challenged, right? But how we relate to that challenge comes from us. Right? And sometimes we feel like, hold on a second, like this is, this is not okay. And then you bite back, or you place boundaries, or you're like, no, I'm not going to accept your BS, your projection. Okay. Because it's not true. I know who I am. I know my intentions, and I'm going to stay true to that, not to what you think, based on your past experiences and based on your projection of me, right? So if you want to make it work, you both have to start speaking and communicating in a different way, not in an attacking, blaming, pointing fingers. Because when we attack someone, right, then
No,
they
they're going
just
to counterattack. They're going to counterattack if you attack someone. And on that note, this is a fight, and I'm going to say it, toxic people. Yeah, you know me. I have a love-hate relationship with toxic people. The thing I find fascinating about all this is that, and I learned this technique many years ago, and I do it a lot. Have you heard the technique of holding a mirror up to someone? Right? Have you heard that?
well, hey, friends are mirrors, yes.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, holding up a mirror, and I just want to big shout to one of our great friends, Kate Stankovic from Canberra. Big wave to Kate. Kate's a great friend of mine. Make sure you connect with Kate. Good seeing you, Kate. Man, I'm loving all the. Don't you love the LinkedIn photos, Christina Davey? Aren't they cool LinkedIn photos? Everyone's got cool LinkedIn photos today. I like it.
I love the smile. So beautiful.
There we go. Now, what holding a mirror up to people is, it can also be called a negotiation technique as well. It's when you treat people exactly the way that they're treating you, right?
Mm.
So in other words, if someone's rude to you, you just rude back to them. If someone's swearing at you, you swear back at them. If someone's really nice to you, you're really nice back to them. And what I find with a lot of toxic people like that is that when you start doing that to them, when you hold a mirror up to them, you just treat them the way they're treating you. They don't like that all of a sudden. They start getting upset and narky. And guess what a lot of the toxic people do? They either stop being toxic or they leave you alone. Isn't that cool?
Yes. I think sometimes we don't have awareness how we participate to the toxicity.
Yeah.
And it could be simply by staying in, connected with the person, by allowing them to say things, to that or to do things that we don't agree with, is not aligned with our values, but we still tolerate it, and this is important to recognize, that when our values are not aligned, it creates a sense of feeling unsafe, because out of a sudden we can't say everything that we want. We can't say, we can't be doing what we want to do, and it's out of a sudden not safe to be ourselves anymore.
Yeah.
And
that's a terrible feeling, isn't it? You know how, and I can think of workplaces where you're walking on eggshells. You're having to watch everything you say. You just can't behave like yourself. It's such a high stress experience when you're in that position, be it a group of friends, work, or whatever. But doesn't it suck where you're walking on eggshells? You've got to watch what you're saying. You can't be yourself. It's such a stifling, difficult feeling.
And it's putting us in a state of alertness, which is very tiring and overwhelming as well. So out of a sudden, because we can't be ourselves and we got to watch everything we do or everything we say, then we are constantly producing cortisol, adrenaline, because it's not safe.
Yeah, that fight flight feeling. You're always angry.
That's it. So that friendship, which is supposed to be an emotional safety net, right? It's no longer there. And especially when it happens with an intimate relationship with a partner who is, part of your life, and you interact so much, right? It's not just friends. If you have that in your intimate relationship, and you have that in a few close friends as well, out of a sudden life gets really hard.
And I find it amazing, and I've been there many times. And my new Arab friend who runs the Anytime Fitness, we had this conversation as well. I find, let's say you got a friendship with someone, right? And it's becoming high stress. It's becoming a bit toxic. It's a bit high stress, that sort of thing. Eventually, I find the mask slips off. So I find if you're tolerating someone and they're annoying you, one time, in a way, you're going to run out of toleration points. You're just going to totally blow up and go for it. And I remember doing that quite a bit at the workplace. So back in my day when I was in the workplace, I worked in it wasn't the government, it was actually afterwards. I worked in one really, really toxic environment. And everything there it was almost like being in prison. I've never been in prison. I've got no plans on going there. It was like being in prison. Everything was just everything was toxic. You could not have a normal conversation with someone there. And what happened was it brought out the worst in me because I decided to out toxic everyone, right? Which was not good. So in other words, I was the good guy fighting the villains. Yeah. And then I defeated all my villains, but then I realized I became the villain. You know how you fight someone or something so much, you actually become that person, but a lot worse. That's what happened to me, right? That's what happened to me. Someone would raise their voice at me and I'd yell at them, right? If someone knocked over glass, I'd tip over their desk. And it got really, really toxic. And I find, back to the topic as well, it's so true. If we surround ourselves by toxic people, it brings out and nurtures our toxic side. If we surround ourselves by loving, awesome people, it brings out our loving side. And I remember you telling me about this once. You said this to me. You said this a lot, actually. If you're in a toxic relationship, you end up becoming toxic yourself, even if you're the good guy. Tell us more about that.
Absolutely. I guess you just end up feeding of each other, right? And you end up attacking. You end up you snowball. You got to really pull yourself back and be like, okay, I don't like what's going on. What's another way of doing this? And a good way of moving from toxicity, if the person is important to you, is to really start owning your part and keeping the other person accountable for theirs. Is it making sense? Now, not everybody can do that. Not everybody can be accountable for what they do. And this is something I had to learn. I used to blame everybody and their mother except owning, right?
Oh, yeah. I'm a master blamer from way back. I was a master at, I'm awesome, but everyone else sucks. I've been there. Not good.
It's this person, this person, this person, and this person. Like,
it's like, I'm awesome and the world sucks, and it's not my fault. You're the problem. Yeah, too much of that is not a good thing, that thinking.
That's it. And I think it's important that we own at least to ourselves. First of all right, well, how am I contributing to this? And then, acknowledge and validate some of their feelings while also sharing some of yours and what you need from the other person. So you can change around that. But when it's a culture of toxicity, right, it's a lot harder because it's allowed from the upper management.
Yeah.
Right. So that's it. If it's too much competitive, how do you say competitiveness?
Like a competitive, toxic place. Yeah.
That's it. Right. Then it becomes about winning, not about supporting, and therefore now the end goal excuses how I'm going to get there. Because what's encouraged is just the end goal. So then obviously the level of this toxicity in that workplace will reach extreme heights, because kindness, support, teamwork is not actually encouraged.
Yeah. And it's funny, actually. I know so many people, especially in Sydney, it happens a lot in Sydney, tragically, where a lot of people in workplaces, and they don't have any friendships at work, right? And it's exactly what you're saying. It's because of the culture from the top, because it's a competitive, darker sort of environment. And I remember just using that situation in my own past, is that I remember for this job, I could walk to work, slipping butt, and I could be feeling good. And before I go in there, I'd make myself angry. I'd be, it's time for the office. And I'd be, which loser am I going to yell at today? So I basically, in a way, I basically kick the door in proverbially, and I'll be in the office and I'm ready for a fight, right? So I'm not there for teamwork or output. I'm ready to kick someone's ass. And I'd sit in my office and I'd be, open my Outlook and all that. And I'd be, all right, okay, bring it on. Yeah. Right? Not a good mindset. And I think what was funny and tragically funny about me, and I became the wrong, is I became the villain. So because I was busy fighting toxic people all day, my goal was to out-toxic them, and I turned into the bad guy. When I realized that, I got out of there pretty quickly, because I thought, and going back again, who we surround ourselves by determine where we went. And then from there, I got the job of my life after that. And I went from being surrounded by a bunch of deranged lunatics to being surrounded by normal people like yourself, right? People who are, and it was just awesome. I didn't know how to behave. It's like people would be nice to me, and I'd think they're about to. No, they were just being nice to me, and it was funny. I've met a lot of people like it, and I'll say this tragically: you meet a lot of people who've had such bad friendships, and when you meet them, they're not used to actually having a proper friendship. In a way, they've got to detox all these bad emotions and all that. And I know you've talked about this topic a lot, Christina.
Yes, we need the contrast. We need the contrast. And when I love what you said. And can I just again praise the fact that you are always so authentic, and you say it like you're like, hey, you're not afraid to say like, I've been this and it didn't work out for me.
I was the villain. I mean, again, it's like the old concept of I think it's Greek. The thesis and antithesis. That sort of expressionism, right? So if you fight something, you become that, right? So it's a bit like World War II when the Allies fought the Germans and all that. Well, what was interesting at the end of the war, we became like the Germans, even though we won World War II. By the end of the war, we were using atomic weapons. We were doing all this crazy stuff. So the whole thing is that you become who you fight, which is a very tragic thing.
If we don't pay attention, yes, absolutely. I always tell everyone, yes, what they do, okay, what they do, it's what they do, but how you respond to it, it's your responsibility, right? So yes, you might be dealing with someone completely toxic, someone who is, I'll hurt you because you hurt me. But if you decide to do the same thing, oh no, I'm going to hurt you because you have hurt me, it only gets worse. It's not going to get better from there. Right. So the way we change the trajectory, the track is by deciding to do something completely different, which is either remove or I protect, but I don't have to attack as well.
Yeah.
Right. I protect. I'm like, well, if you continue this way, there will be consequences.
Yeah.
Right. But I don't have to also attack because then I'm contributing to the toxicity.
Yeah.
So I think we need a contract. And you said it so beautifully earlier when you said, well, I surrender myself with different people. And then you start noticing the contrast.
Yeah.
Well, hold on a second. This is not working here. So now if I want to belong to this community, to this culture, I have to change.
Yeah.
I have to change and adapt because it's important to me to be in this community. It's important to me to be in this friendship. And now we become motivated to change.
Yes.
Because we want to belong to that, or we want to be part of it, or we want to have it. I love what Kate is saying about accountability.
Yeah. So accountability, you're the common denominator in every situation. And paraphrasing what Kate's saying, 2 wrongs don't make it right. I absolutely love it. And this brings me to we've got about 10, 15 minutes left of this live stream. This brings me to the bit I want to end on. So we've spoken a lot about friendships, relationships, how to handle them. And this is, to me, the big reset button. So a lot of people will be sitting here watching saying, okay, Ed, Christina, and Boss Ladies, this is awesome, right? I love your content. But how do I find the right people, right? How do I now go find the right people to surround myself by to create the life that I want? And I'll just start off that answer. We were doing that all day yesterday. So you and I, we were running, we ran 2 meetups yesterday. We ran the business networking meetup and we ran this. So you and I worked together on running 2 meetups yesterday. So that's one of the biggest things I love about Meetup, because what's interesting is pretty much most of the cool people in my life, Lassie included and yourself, I've met through Meetup and business networking. So in other words, I've met all you amazing people who've totally transformed my life through business networking. I want you to tell us more about that, Christina. How do we find the right people and surround ourselves with the right people?
I think there are 2 elements in here that comes to mind on the spot. Is the first one is we got to know ourselves. So what's important to us, what makes us happy, what we are passionate about. And the second one will be to create opportunities to connect with people who are aligned with what we like, love, and we're passionate about. And our meetups are about that. You are bringing, business and professionals together to collaborate, to find clients, to inspire each other in business, and right after that, there's an opportunity for them to socialize, to build new friendship, find a significant other, right? So it's a beautiful combination. And what they all have in common is they are driven, they want more in life, they're passionate about something, they are go-getters, right? And now they can connect with other people who are like. But what I mean by creating opportunities, hey, ask yourself, how social are you right now at this point in your life? Where do you go to connect with people? When we talk about how to find the right people, well, where do you go? Where are you exposing yourself? Where are you spending your time, and who are you spending your time? Because we're creatures of habit, and we tend to go to the same places, seeing same people, talking about same BS every time. Now, creating opportunities means I'm going to place myself in the environment that I want to belong to.
Yes, that's clever. So say that again. I like that bit. Say that again. That was the epitome of the live stream. Say it again.
So I'm going to expose myself to the environment that I want to belong to.
Yeah, and I think that's gold. I just want to react to that. So if you're all listening, friends, that is, to me, that's the actual core idea of this live stream. You want to not expose yourself, because that's illegal and we don't do that on LinkedIn, but you want to place yourself. So I have an ex-cop. So when you say expose yourself, I'm giggling, right? So
I haven't even thought of that.
I'm probably not the right person to host this live stream. No, I am. But no, what it is that you're right. You want to expose, you want to place yourself in the environment that you want to be. There we go.
Oh my gosh, I've been using that word for so long, and I'm thinking now, all I'm thinking is like,
but you're not a pervert, so it's okay. I can't say that because you say it normally because you're not corrupted like me. I can't say it without, thinking something that is not LinkedIn approved. Right. There you go.
So placing yourself, yes. Where are you placing? Are you placing yourself in environments that are aligned with what you want to experience? And as Kate is saying, yes, test the waters. Go a little bit here, go a little bit here, go. And then this way you can figure out where you fit in. Like I know I fit in the coaching industry. So when I go to events where people are there to learn about a certain topic, now if it's about, I don't know, spaceships, it's not my thing, right? But if it's about emotions, personal development, how to overcome a challenge, that is my jam. So I'm going to those events and I'm meeting like-minded people who want to be kind, people who want to create good in life, people who want to be better, right? Not because we are bad now, but because we are focused on growth and how we can expand. But if I'm going to keep exposing myself to environments, placing myself. I
kept my mouth shut. I was going to say it. I kept my mouth shut. I'm like, don't it. I wanted to. I was like, no, shut up, bitch. Shut up, bitch.
No. Keep me accountable. It's okay. So if we are placing ourselves to places where we don't fit, because it's something wrong with the place, but we don't fit because we have different values, then that's going to be a problem. It's a little bit like placing a fish on a tree.
Yeah.
Right. So if we want a fish to fly, I mean, there is some flying fish, but they're not really living in a tree, right? So you go where you feel like you thrive. Go where you feel like you belong.
And I love it. And Kate made an interesting point, because this actually brings me to another point which you and I practice. And I like this comment. And from Kate, I'll never fit in, so I just do me. So Kate and I are great friends. Love your work, Kate. Thanks for tuning in the live stream. Well, if you're here on this live stream as well, like, share, comment, say hello. We've got about 5-10 minutes left. Now, one interesting thing is, and I know you like here, right? And let's not talk about exposed too much. So there we go. So it's about exposure. There we go. Now, what's interesting is that right? I don't fit into a lot of places. I don't. And what was interesting, I love, for example, when I was building my business, I got into the business chambers. The business chambers are amazing. I found I always didn't fit in there. And one of my motivations to starting my own meetup was, you know what? I don't fit into a lot of places out there. I want to build my own meetup to attract like-minded people, right? And what was interesting about it is that a lot of people feel the way that you and I do. A lot of people feel, hang on, I don't fit in this environment. I want something where I feel more comfortable. And it's funny you say, I tried all these different meetup events. When I was building our own meetup and got off the ground, obviously it's kicking butt today. I tried all these different meetups and I found that some I like, some I didn't like. But you're right, I think in a way it's great to not fit in because you can sit there and then create your own environment to attract people. That's one of the things I love about Meetup and LinkedIn is that you can do it your way to create the environment for you. So if you don't fit in, so what's interesting with our meetups, we have a lot of very, very successful people who come to our meetups like yesterday. A lot of these people don't fit into normal society. And I say that positively because normal society can suck a lot. What's your take on this one?
I think there's a place for everyone. And I firmly believe that. I just think that sometimes we just haven't found it yet. A place where we can belong and fit in. It's just about, that comes down to, I'm all about, I love what you've done. Like, hey, I don't like what's on the market. I'm creating my own thing. Brilliant. Because now
one of the feelings and motivations I had when I started the meetup.
And sometimes, you know, there is not what you are aspiring to create, to experience. It might not be on the market.
Yeah.
Which it's an opportunity, an invitation for you to create it, to do it. And this is exactly what you did. And I love it because now people that are aligned with you, you know, they come along and they love you for what you do and they love the environment, you know, that you're doing. It's exactly what the feedback I got yesterday at my event. You know, people were like, oh my gosh, people are like, you know, raving about you and I want to talk to you. And because they resonated with it, so they keep coming back.
Yeah.
But sometimes we also don't really know exactly what we're looking for. We just know that we don't like it here, we don't like it here, we don't like it here. And therefore, we're not quite sure yet. We haven't defined what is it that we need to identify on the market. Let's just put it that way. Yeah? Mm-hmm. So there's two things. It might not exist and you can create it, or we might not know ourselves enough to actually find it out there. One thing I love about your business networking meeting compared to other ones, I'm not going to say any names, is that it is that casual, you know, everybody's like requiring someone. We don't have like a quota that we have to do. It's not the flexibility, the social aspect of it. I love that. That resonates with me. This is me. I'm like, yes, sign me up. Mm-hmm. But I went to other business networking meetings, and because I know myself, I was like, nah, this is not for me.
Yeah.
Because I know myself. So when I found you guys, you and Lassie, I was like, yes, sign me up. This is perfect. This is me. This is like, you know, I belong here. But sometimes we just, you know, we keep knocking at doors that we don't have a key for. And we're not invited either because others might not see, you know, resemblance in us.
Yeah.
This is making sense?
Yeah, I think so, because it's funny, and I say this truthfully but yet tragically, it also comes down to your reputation as well, because one thing that I've experienced a lot is, and when I was a nobody, right, back in the day, a lot of people wouldn't take me seriously or they wouldn't even help me, right? A lot of people were quite mean to me. But now I'm Edward Zia, I'm this big shot and all that. Whenever people know me, they always roll up the red carpet. And I find as well, that's a bit of a darker side about things. Your reputation is a factor. If you're a nobody, people will treat you in a certain, some people, right? If you're a nobody, some people will treat you in a certain way. If you're somebody, people then treat you differently because, and I say this positively and negatively, the thing that we get lately is because of my reputation, people now treat me in a certain way that they didn't treat me like 5 years ago. Oh my God, you're Edward Zia. It's so good to meet you, blah, 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 blah. Whereas 5 years ago, they would just ignore me, disregard me, or even make fun of me. So it's funny that, I think your reputation also influences that as well. So again, from a LinkedIn point of view, the more famous and well-known you get is the more, I hate to say it, nicer people treat you. That's just, I think it's just the way society works, be it rightly or wrongly.
Absolutely, 100%. The way we carry ourselves as well, who we believe we are.
Yeah, totally.
Who we believe we are.
Yeah.
It's going to, based on that, we are going to send out there completely different signals and energy, and then we are welcome or we are not welcome.
Yeah.
Which is important that we work on our identity. We work on understanding who we are and where do we fit, because there is a place for everybody.
Yeah.
There is a place for everybody.
And my question is, I get asked this a lot. My Arab friend who was running Anytime Fitness the other day nearby asked me this question too. She goes, how do we kind of understand what we're into? How do we understand what we stand for? Because I'm pretty in tune with what I like and what I don't like these days. But there's going to be a lot of people, a lot of amazing people watching who aren't clear on what they like and what they don't like. What's your advice for people to explore from a friendship point of view? What's for them, what's not for them, what's the right environments? What's your take on that one, Christina?
By welcoming new situations, new environments, new people, you are going to realize this works, this now works, this works, this not works. A process of elimination, exposure.
Exposure, legal exposure, legal. Keep it legal. We're on LinkedIn, yeah. Legal.
So we sometimes we don't know until we try, right?
Yeah, gotcha.
So we got to really try, as I think it was Kate that said it earlier, like, just put your feet in it, and just test the waters.
Yeah.
I think she said, like, testing the waters. You gotta be willing to try it.
Yeah.
Because unless you try it, you won't learn. You're not going to learn from staying at home and not meeting anyone and not putting yourself in situations where you realize, but there's that fear of rejection and fear of judgment that prevents us from actually putting ourselves out there to try new things, to try new communities, to try, I tell everyone, hey, people are asking me, is this social event for me? And I said, well, why don't you come and try it and taste it yourself? Yeah. I don't know. I don't know if you'll do it for you or not. It depends on you. So when you come over, you're going to experience it and then decide for yourself.
Yeah.
Because I have different values than you. There are different things that make me feel good probably than you. So I can't tell you. I might tell you, yeah, come along. It's going to be great. You come and you don't like it. Because I don't know, people are talking too much. It's too loud. It's too quiet. I don't know what your criteria is of liking something. With friendships, is the same. Yeah. Hey, how many new people are you meeting per month?
Yes. I love where you're going. I couldn't agree with you more. Love where you're going.
Yeah. Like, how many new events are you going to per month? Because when you have choices, then you experience more, you have more friends, but it's when we don't have choices because we don't place ourselves in new situations that we tolerate shitty behaviors because we think there's nothing else out there.
Yeah. I think it's golden. It's funny you say that because I've had a lot of people lately, men and women, ask me a lot about how to find a partner. Like, I know we're talking friendships, we're just jumping into relationships to make the point, but Ed, I want to find the right person for me, whatever it is, right? And And much like where you go, I said, oh, so I find out a bit about him. And I said, so what's your life? What are you doing? And invariably, the ones that are all having relationship trouble or friendship trouble, they're just going to work and going home. They're not meeting anyone. And that's the first thing I react to, saying, look, if you don't get out and go to events and meet people, I don't think your life's going to change a lot. And this is one of the big things I love about Meetup. One of the things that attracted me to Meetup is that Meetup, like, again, it's helped me I've made heaps of money out of Meetup, but just pushing aside money just for the second, right? Being involved in Meetup has allowed me to meet so many amazing people such as yourself and enrich my life. And I think that's a good close. We got to finish up shortly, but I think it's a good closing thought to people. If you're not happy with the friendships you have, it's time to go to events, go out and explore and meet the right people. What do you think, Christina, as we close this up?
100%. Stop being the effect. This is not just happening to you. It's because you're tolerating it, and you're tolerating it because you don't have options. When we have options, it's okay to say no. No, thank you. This is not for me. And let go. That's with intimate partners, boyfriends, girlfriends, wives, husbands, friends, colleagues, bosses, anything.
When we have options, we can make decisions. Without options, we can't do much. When we got options, we can do whatever we want. That is a great final thought, Christina Davey. You are a smart, brilliant lady.
It was great to have this conversation with you. What a great topic as well. And I think we kind of combined. We didn't just talk just about friendships. We cover everything out there. Hey, Michelle, how are you?
Michelle, over on Facebook, Michelle Peel. Everyone connect with Michelle Peel on LinkedIn and Facebook, a legendary marketing consultant. Don't you love Michelle Peel? Because I love Michelle Peel, Christina Davey.
Oh, yes. She's absolutely awesome. I talked to her a few times, and I love her energy and what she stands for. Yes.
Yeah. Now, just as we finish up, I'm just going to say, if you just come in, we are finishing up now. So please, again, watch the replay. The replay goes up right away on Facebook and LinkedIn. But just before we finish, Christina Davey, can we get, oh my God, we got to look what Michelle Peel said. We love you guys too. In fact, if you don't love Michelle Peel, you're the problem and you need therapy. That's all I can say. You need events. If you don't love Michelle Peel, that's on you. That's not on Michelle, because she's so amazing. Now, I'd love to get a closing thought from you, Christina Davey, talking friendships, just friendships and who we surround ourselves by. Can we just get a final closing thought from you, and we'll finish up on that?
Put me on the spot. I think I'll say I'll quote Edwards. Yeah, if you don't like it, change it.
Yeah. I feel like punching the wall now. I'm all fired up. Yeah.
If you don't like it, change it. You don't have to tolerate. But again, I think we gotta keep in mind that friendships are mirrors.
Yes.
And it doesn't mean necessarily that we are the same like the other person, but it might mean that we are what's the word? We are complementing. Like the give and taking, a taker will need a giver, and a giver will need a taker. So you might be a good match for that person, and that's why you keep attracting them. So get to the bottom of it. If you keep meeting people that are taking advantage of you, it means that you got to stop being so tolerant. You got to stop being so giving. You got to be more selective. It's not that it's just happening to you. It's actually that you have the power to change it, and you got to get to the bottom of what's creating that thing for you.
Oh my God, there we go. Such brilliance. And just as we're up, big thank you for joining Boss Ladies, where we meet up every month with legendary boss ladies. And Christina Davey, I love doing our shows. We should do more of them. You are a deep-seated thinker, Christina Davey, and I got to say, I appreciate you.
Thank you for having me here. It's always a pleasure, and I love your topics. I love what you stand for, and look forward to the next business networking event with Edward and Lassie Zia, the best in town.
Oh, pleasure. Thank you again, friends. Make sure you stay awesome. I can hear my kids killing each other in the lounge room, so I better tend to them. But I was going to say, have a great weekend, everyone. And thank you so much, Christina Davey. Love your work, everyone.